Welcome everybody back into Nerd Sesh. As always, I'm Carson Bradburn. Alongside me is Logan Camden, and you already know what the deal is. We are going to be breaking down all of the NBA playoff action that we saw today, and we're going to start with the marquee matchup of the day, Logan. Lakers, Timberwolves, LA obviously coming off of a 22-point defeat in game one. They get their revenge here in game two. What did you take away from this performance, and what changed for LA to get this win?
I mean, first, dude, this is just an ugly, nasty, putrid, disgusting basketball game.
For real.
The Lakers shoot 6 of 29 from behind the arc. Minnesota shoots 5 of 25. I honestly think we can start there. I think one of the biggest differences in this game from game one in this series was Minnesota's supporting cast and their ability to really pull their weight and to make shots. I mean, Naz Reid had an amazing game one. Jaden McDaniels had an amazing game one, and both of those guys came back down crashing to earth. Along with that, I think I have to give the Lakers credit just for really bringing the energy tonight. I thought they were swarming. I thought they brought the fight to Minnesota, and they played really, really physical. I thought this was a really physical game just in general, too. I thought the refs let both of these teams play really hard.
Yeah, man.
And honestly, in general, Carson, I've kind of been really pleased with the level of intensity that the refs in all of these games across every series, really, the intensity they've let these guys play with. Like, it's a big difference to me. I don't know if you've felt the difference, but like even last year, I thought that they were way more they were way less lenient. I feel like they're really letting the guys play this year.
Well, they're calling fouls at the lowest rate that we have ever seen in the playoffs. Like, I've actually seen that number put out there. So that is 100% true. And you just feel how different playoff basketball is, man. Like, I tweeted out some numbers the other day, but points per game are down by like 9 compared to the regular season. Pace has gone down from like 99
I
on
like
average
it.
to under 93.
What do you think about it?
I love it, bro. I love it. Let's get a little more physical. Let's make buckets a little bit harder to come by. But at the end of the day, this is still the best offense that we've seen in the NBA, and that does come through, but it's very balanced. I like that there's tension on every possession when the pace is slower. I think it's great. I love playoff basketball, and I think it's fun that it's different from the regular season. And like the last 2 years, we have really, really seen that because it was basically the same drop off last year. Pace gets a lot slower, offenses get a bit less efficient, and more physicality is absolutely allowed.
I think it's good for the environment of the game, but I like that it doesn't interrupt the flow of the game. You know what I mean? Like I never
Yeah.
feel like it's ever. That's when I feel like the refs really make me mad is when they mess up the flow of the game. But I've really enjoyed it. That aside, you got to give credit to the Lakers defense. I thought for their physicality tonight and what they were able to do on the glass in comparison to Game One. But
Yep.
also, Luka to me was the best player on the basketball court in this game, and that's a huge key in these grimy rock fight type of environments, those kind of games, sometimes the best player on the court is going to just drag you through. And that's the way I felt about Luka in this one. 14 points in the first quarter, just came out blistering hot, comes out and ends this game with 31 points, 9 assists. And he was able to consistently generate the best offense for either of these teams. And even that, I feel like some of these don't show up in the stat sheet, even though he does finish the game with 31 points and 9 assists. There's some plays in this game where he creates the initial advantage, and then you get a swing into a shot for the Lakers. But those were the real differences to me. I thought that the Lakers were the more physical team. I thought they bullied and beat up on Minnesota. They were better defensively and on the glass. And I thought Luka was the best player on the basketball court in this game. Credit to the Wolves for that hellacious comeback in the fourth quarter to get it to single digits. You know, they hold LA scoreless in the fourth quarter for 3 minutes. But I expected the series to kind of balance out this way, Carson. I think we're in for a 6-7 game series between both of these teams. I think it's interesting that we can kind of get both sides of the coin, a little more offensive-oriented basketball game in game one, a more defensive-oriented one in this one. But I think this is a really balanced series. I still expect the Lakers to pull it out, but Those are the big differences, man. The Lakers defense and Luka was the best player on the court.
I completely agree. And the Lakers won this game in the first quarter, man, because honestly, for the last 3 quarters, the Timberwolves were mostly the better team. It's just LA was so utterly dominant in that first quarter. They built themselves such a cushion that they were able to hold on. And they built themselves that cushion in the exact 2 areas that you just laid out. This was a phenomenal defensive effort, and Luka was clearly the best player on the floor, especially in that first quarter. The defensive effort was so impressive. And I talked about how after game one, I didn't want to see a radical shift in scheme from the Lakers. I just wanted to see them execute it better with more intensity, with more physicality, be more aggressive on your closeouts, running shooters off the line. And they did all of those things in this game. The physicality from them was super impressive. Their willingness to sacrifice their bodies was unbelievable. I don't know if I've ever seen that many offensive fouls drawn in a game by one team, man. I mean, they must have drawn 7 or 8, and that's everybody. Austin Reeves draws multiple. Luka draws multiple. So they were very connected. They were very engaged. They were very physical. They were running shooters off the line more and funneling them into help instead of allowing more of those open catch and shoot looks from three. But at the end of the day, they stuck to their principles and they did what they do best. They shrunk the floor. They loaded up on Anthony Edwards. They had aggressive gap help, and they dared Ant to beat them as a passer again. And they dared the Timberwolves shooters to beat them again. And this was just a complete reversal from game one in those respects. Like, I thought the Lakers were much, much better defensively executing their scheme. I also thought Anthony Edwards was way worse as a decision maker, where I thought that he was super willing as a passer in game one and was making all the reads. He has 0 assists in this game. So he's forcing more of those looks that the Lakers want to bait him into. If they can get him to settle for a tough mid-range jumper, that's a win every day of the week. He shoots 37% on those shots. That compared to him getting all the way to the rim or him creating a 3 for a teammate, an open 3 off the kickout pass. Like, they'll take those mid-range jumpers every day. And they got a couple of those from him in this one. So he has to be better. He has to be a playmaker first for the Timberwolves to win this series. And the shooters around him have to be way better, right? They were flamethrowers in game one. They shot 20% from deep in this one. They got a lot fewer looks from deep, and I put a lot of that on Ant and his playmaking, and I give some credit to the Lakers defense as well, but they were terrible when they did have the shots. So this is the thing with Ant's playmaking. Logan, I know that you are a massive, massive Ant fan. The playmaking is inconsistent, man. There are the games where you feel like he's coming into it with the right approach and he's pretty surgical and he's diagnosing things quickly. And then you have the games where you feel like he doesn't trust his teammates. He doesn't want to pass the ball. He wants to try to assert himself as a scorer and sometimes force it. And it felt like it was one of those games. So Ant has to be better as a passer. The Timberwolves have to shoot better from deep to win this series. They didn't do either of those things. The Lakers were significantly better defensively. And Luka Doncic is playing at a really, really high level right now, man. I've expressed some concerns throughout this season for him with the Lakers about him not being the same as a scorer compared to the standard that we're used to. And that was true for a long while. His first 23 games with the Lakers, he was averaging 26.8 points per game on 56.5% true shooting. That's not Luka Doncic production. That's not Luka Doncic efficiency. His last 7 games, Logan, 34.3 points per game on 69% true shooting. The 3 ball is on fire right now, but he looks so comfortable attacking and beating switches. I think he's getting by people more. I think he's getting to the line more. Still not at peak Luka level of a couple years ago, but improvement from where he was at a month ago. And that is massive because if the Lakers want to win this series, if they want to win multiple series, so much offensive responsibility rests on Luka's shoulders. He has to be the guy that we have known him to be over the years, and he's looking like that guy again. So that's really big.
I think that's really big, but also the other area that we mentioned that the Lakers are great in, I think, is going to be key to a long playoff run, and that was their defense. And the thing about the Lakers' defense that I think is so encouraging isn't necessarily that they're, super matchup proof, because I do think that, like, against teams with jumbo size lineups or really big guys, like, they could get beat on the boards. Like, they're not fully matchup proof, but when they are winning defensively, this is a team that can kill you and just put up a lot of points in bunches with their transition play because they get out on the break so quickly and they've got so many skilled players. But also the fact that they are a really big lineup across the board where they can gang rebound, but they're also really, really quick and their rotations are really solid. And so when everything's clicking, like this really is a complete team. But specifically, how they can turn defense into offense is really what I think makes this LA team deadly when Luka and LeBron get it going like this. I'm excited about the prospect of an LA run, but I am disappointed in Minnesota too, man. I'm really disappointed in Ant Carson, and I get it's like growing pains with a young player, man. It's just gonna take time, dude. I'm just disappointed because like
Yeah.
I can see it. You know what I mean? Like I can see that Ant. I know that Ant's gonna be one of the best players on the planet one day. It's just gonna take getting to that level of consistency, and I
Mhm.
just want it to be here right now, man. It's like I remember when my baby cousin was born, dude. I was so excited to have another boy in the family, and I remember Kenny had just been born, dude. He was probably like an hour old. And the first thing that I asked my uncle and aunt was, when can I play with him? And they all just like busted out laughing because I mean, he's literally a newborn. Like, that's how
Yeah.
I feel with Ant, man. Like, I know that I'm going to
You
get,
just want to play with him.
I, I know that we're going
And
to
I
get
don't
there,
blame you.
man. And I know that Ant is going to be there, but it's just frustrating when you have a performance like this after such an encouraging game one where it feels like he's so poised and he knows what's expected of him and what he needs to do to execute. And then you just get a game like this where he kind of crashes back down to earth, especially too when I thought Julius Randle played a pretty good game by
Yeah.
Julius Randle standards, man.
And considering just how grimy this game was, I agree. I thought that he was efficient attacking mismatches. I thought that he was pretty good overall. He was definitely their best player in this one. So it is a rough performance from Ant. I do want to give credit to the Lakers in a couple areas in which I thought they showed big improvement. And you mentioned one of them on the glass. The fact that they were able to hang even on the offensive glass and end up +7 on the boards overall just because they missed fewer shots. They had less opportunities at offensive rebounds. I thought that that was really big, and their ability to get out in transition a bit more than in game one, and more importantly, their ability to keep Minnesota out of transition because it's hard for these teams to score in the half court, man. And in game one, Minnesota was +13 in terms of transition points. In this game, the Lakers are +7. They hold Minnesota to just 10 transition points, and they score more transition points in their own right compared to game one. You really saw that in the first quarter where they're turning defense into offense. And then after that, I'm going to be honest, I didn't love the Lakers offense and I didn't love their offensive process. I thought that they got a little bit too obsessed with trying to attack Rudy on switches, and Luka was cooking him early, but Rudy held up pretty well, man. He defended 9 isolations. The Lakers only scored 7 points on those isolations. So I feel like there's this offensive ceiling that we can all see with the Lakers when their big three is clicking on all cylinders and like the spot up shooting is there. But at the same time, a lot of the possessions in this game are just them sort of freelancing, playing ISO ball, trying to force it against matchups that I don't think are as advantageous for them as maybe they do. And so they really didn't produce good offense for the last 3 quarters. And like since Luka joined the team, man, they were 14th in offensive rating down the stretch of the regular season. So he was great in this game, absolutely. But felt like some of these possessions were stagnant, not a lot of organized offense. And I think you still need more out of LeBron and Austin Reeves going forward. I thought that LeBron honestly had a pretty similar approach to game one, where he's settling for a lot of jumpers, where he's trying to target the bigs off of switches a bit too much for my liking, where he's more inclined to settle for one of those jumpers as opposed to going after a smaller wing off a switch who he can play bully ball against. So he ends up not having a super productive or efficient day. And then Austin Reeves was okay in this one. I thought he did a better job of beating switches than he did in game one. He blows by Rudy for a big bucket. He blows by Naz Reid for a bucket. And at the end of the day, like his three ball just wasn't really on. But still, man, I mean, 37 combined points from those guys. It's not the production that I want.
I think the Lakers offense can be better too. And honestly, I would just get back to basics. I don't think they have to do a bunch of complicated stuff with this Minnesota defense. I'm putting the ball in LeBron or Luka's hands every possession. We are going to spread you out, 5 out, and we're going to let those guys attack in space. And then when the double comes, we'll kick back out. Or I don't get why they don't get back to just like handoffs and simple shit like that, man. Like I think back to when these teams played earlier in the season before the playoffs. Like that's what was really working for the Lakers there, and I think they have such a large shooting gap between these two teams. The Lakers have such an advantage there that I think that if they just outshoot Minnesota in volume, it'll balance itself out. Like they'll just outshoot them from behind the arc so much in this series, they should be able to win. Yeah, I didn't get it, man. They got out to such a hot start, and they just kind of stalled out late here in this game. Like I mentioned, there's a stretch in the fourth quarter where they're scoreless for 3 minutes that allows Minnesota to really get back in this game. But, I mean, I think some of it definitely does get chalked up to the physicality of this game and how just the environment of the playoffs here. But I fundamentally, I agree with you, and I think maybe this can be enough against Minnesota. When we start looking past Minnesota is when I really think that we're going to need LA's offense to really be clicking for them to survive.
I think part of it is Jackson Hayes playing so few minutes. The fact that they don't have any sort of vertical spacer, they basically don't have a functional roll man in these lineups. They're not running actual pick and roll. They're literally just calling somebody up to screen to get the switch on Rudy, on Nas, on whoever they think that they have an advantage against. And I just think pick and roll is efficient offense. I think that Luka is an absolute master of it. And the fact that they're not able to go to that, they only ran 20 pick and rolls in this game, according to Synergy. That is a very, very low number for a team to run in an NBA game in 2025. Normally that number is like in the mid high 30s. So it's a lot of ISO ball, and it wasn't the most effective in this one, but hey, they were more effective than the team opposite them. I just think more pick and roll would be to their benefit, and maybe Jackson Hayes not getting into such quick foul trouble is to their benefit there. Because the 5-out offense, like I love in theory, but I think you feel the lack of a play finishing big to some extent, and
I mean, and
the shooting benefits don't all offset that.
it just really sucks not having any guy in that kind of archetype when you know how successful any player in that archetype is alongside a Luka Doncic and how much better he makes them. Like it's not that hard of a piece to acquire, and if they had one, it could take them up a notch already.
I agree, but I think that Hayes has been decent in his minutes. It's just,
He
again, I
has.
mean, he got into foul trouble super quick in this one. And the big thing is they were able to stay positive on the glass without him. That's a huge achievement for them. And that's also a problem for the Timberwolves. Like you have to be able to assert your size advantage there. But the Lakers came with a totally different level of intensity in this one. And I thought that that was a huge part of the difference. Physicality, engagement defensively. They just got smacked in the mouth in game one, and they were kind of left slack-jawed, and they were like, huh, we weren't really prepared for that.
They
This
got
one,
outworked.
again, they did. The offense never really got going to its peak potential in this one, but they won the game on the back of their defense. That is an accomplishment and really, really impressive stuff from them. I think that we're in for a hell of a series here. I'm going to stick to my guns and think that the Lakers have a formula that I trust a little bit more, especially when they execute like this defensively. But I do think that we are in for a grind. I think we are in for some more tough offensive games like this. And Timberwolves have to execute a lot better. Lakers can continue to execute better offensively. Both of these teams can be sharper on that end, but Ant has to be much better as a decision maker. Timberwolves shooters have to be a lot better. Is there anything else you want to touch on from this one?
No, I just
Nasri?
Ant's got to be better, man. Ant's got to be better. I was really disappointed with him in this one, man. And
But also everybody outside of Julius
it
Randle,
was just
again,
such
who
an
was good in
ugly
this game. Like
I felt bad
Mike
for
Conley couldn't make a shot. Jaden McDaniels couldn't make a
dude.
shot. Nas had a couple, but wasn't as productive.
Just sucks
Dante,
when
Gilgeous-Alexander Walker,
all
literally
of
nobody
it
could make a shot for the
all
Timberwolves.
of it
Yeah.
comes together, man. It's so bad for Minnesota.
And that's been my concern with the Timberwolves, man. They are a really good basketball team. I would never deny that. They
That
have
clutch
phenomenal
offense.
depth.
That
They're an
clutch
excellent
offense,
defensive
man.
team. That clutch offense and that offense overall just concerns me a bit. They were phenomenal in game one. They were doing everything right, getting out in transition. Ants making the right decisions. They're knocking down all their catch and shoot threes. But I think it's good process to test Ants' decision making and test the consistency of their shooting. I think it's much better process, certainly, than like playing Ant one-on-one, which I saw some people suggesting they should do, because there were a couple possessions where they didn't help aggressively on Ant. They didn't show aggressive help, and like he's getting right to the rim. There were a couple that he didn't finish that I thought he got fouled on, and that was just kind of the way that this game was, like a lot of physicality allowed on both ends. Lakers end up being the one who step up to the challenge and get a much needed big win. We're going to take a quick break for some words from DraftKings, and then on the other half, we will talk about the 2 remaining games of the day. The NBA 82 game grind is done, and now the real fun begins. The NBA playoffs are here, and it's time for all the high stakes drama, clutch moments, and jaw dropping plays. I can't wait. If you're looking to make the playoffs even more exciting, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered as an official sports betting partner of the NBA. From the play-in games all the way through to the finals, now's the time to back your favorite players and teams as they chase glory.
All season long, DraftKings has been the go-to spot for NBA player props, and that doesn't stop now. Want to make your playoff experience even more intense? Try placing a bet on your favorite player's performance. Will they drop 30 points, 40, or more? It's your call. Ready to place your first bet? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now, lock in your bets, and let's make this playoff run unforgettable.
Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Make it a playoff run to remember with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code NERDS. That's code NERDS for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Logan, Tyrese Haliburton came into the game today with most overrated player in the league allegations that came out of some bullshit poll the NBA put out. He came into this game with Damian Lillard talking shit to him the game prior. And what did he do? He delivered the Indiana Pacers a win, and it's another very nice collective performance from Indiana as they go up 2-0 in spite of Damian Lillard's return to action. What did you take away from this performance by the Pacers?
Why are they hating on our boy like that, man? I don't get it.
Everybody hates whimsy. Everybody hates merriment.
Like,
everybody hates selfless team basketball. God forbid a
yeah,
guy
dude,
prefer to create an opportunity for somebody else.
Bro, on God. I don't get how you can hate Tyrese Haliburton anymore, man. I love how he plays basketball. Like, I don't know, man. That's so baffling to me. Like, so NBA players don't appreciate Tyrese Haliburton either? Come on, man.
Well, it's only whatever, like a small percentage of them, because you can vote for anybody in the league. He just got the highest percentage of the vote. It's still probably like 10% or something. So yeah, you got 10% of NBA players who unfortunately don't know ball. It's sad.
It is sad. I mean, I was going to say, like, I feel bad for him. The guy I do feel bad for is the guy that you mentioned in a tweet. I feel bad for Giannis, bro. I don't think the Bucks have the horses in this race, man. I just really don't. I don't think they've got the dogs. I don't think they've got what they need to beat Indiana in this series. Like, there is such a large creation and skill gap from these two teams. It is staggering. If it's Tyrese Haliburton every possession, if it's Andrew Nembhard, who made huge shot after huge shot in the fourth quarter, if it's TJ McConnell, who on any given night can come in and give you the spark you need off the bench, there is just such a massive skill and shooting gap between both of these teams. And credit to Milwaukee for coming back in the fourth quarter. That was awesome. They go on a 13-0 run to cut a 15-point lead to a 2-point lead at the end. Bobby Portis had an awesome game, was balling in the fourth quarter. But I just don't know what can go in their favor and what can really change enough to even get them a win. That's at the point I'm at with in Milwaukee. I hope they can get a game. You know, I'm not even at like a series thing with them. They need more from Damian Lillard. They certainly need more from Kyle Kuzma. I think especially, look, man, I don't want to close the book on him just 2 games into his playoff career with Milwaukee. I think they have to have buyer's remorse with Kuzma and wish they had held on to Middleton. Like, just what Middleton can give you in the playoffs as a playmaker, as a high IQ basketball player, because frankly, I don't think there's anything the Bucks can do in this series against Indiana to make them uncomfortable on offense. They just don't have the defensive personnel. And so you think about the trade with Kuzma, that was the idea. And sure, Kuzma might get you a few extra boards a game. I would much rather have the offensive player that I believe in more, because they still have the biggest defensive liability on the court in Brook Lopez. And as long as you're playing Brook Lopez in this series, you're cooked. The Pacers offense is going to eat. And so now what the Bucks are forced to do is play lineups to maximize their skills. So I think they need to run a ton of lineups with Portis, a ton of lineups with Kevin Porter Jr., with Gary Trent Jr., obviously with Dame and like with AJ Green. They're just playing from a deficit, man. And that's where I'm at in this series. I don't know if the Bucks are going to steal a game, even with as dominant as Giannis is and has been and is going to be. I don't know how they stop the Pacers. Do you just stop playing Brook Lopez? Do we abandon that completely? Do we just go Giannis and Bobby as our front court? Like, that's what's so damning. Brook Lopez is one of their 5 best players, and he's like completely unplayable in this series. And I just think the Bucks are cooked, man. And it's not even, dude, you know what? I wish on my hater shit, I wish this could be like some Doc Rivers shit, but it's not. It's the Bucks don't have the dogs. They just don't have the dogs in this race.
I will say, old Doc is definitely not doing them any favors. Like, he comes into this game and his big plan isn't, hey, let's start this game with Bobby at the 5, because he was actually pretty effective last game. He was able to switch, and that was a much more functional defensive lineup, and Brook was getting torched on every single possession. We should just change our starting lineup. His idea is, what if I take 400,000-year-old Brook Lopez and we have him switch everything? How's that going to work? Like, dude, you've got a pure drop big trying to play against a Tyrese Haliburton, Miles Turner pick and pop attack. He can't do it, but the answer is not, let's put him on an island with Hallie and see what happens, because he's getting blown by every time. So they only played Brook 16 minutes in this game. That's a good number, but they did dig themselves a bit of a hole early because he was just getting absolutely exploited defensively again. I thought he was better in game 1 because when they put him in the middle of the zone, at least he was able to protect the rim at a pretty high level. He has 4 blocks in this game in his 16 minutes, but still just way too many instances of him getting brought out into space and exposed against a team that moves the ball too fast, that has too many perimeter threats, that has too many shooting threats. All of their bigs are shooting threats. This just is not the series for Brook Lopez. I said that coming in, and I just feel more strongly about that each game, each minute. So I will put that on Doc to some extent. Also, I would like to see a Giannis at the 5 lineup at some point. Now, the Giannis and Bobby front court is really working by their standards. Indiana's just a better team, but I'm saying compared to the alternative, which is Brook being on the floor, that's been a really good look because Bobby's held up pretty well on those switches. I do wonder if you could get a little bit more speed and defensive versatility out there and even more shooting around Giannis with him at the 5, but also I understand you don't want to have too many smaller guards on the floor.
You got to match
Siakam
that size
can go out
of
there
Siakam
mismatch
and
tag.
Turner. Yeah.
Like, if Bobby's going to play like this, fucking play him 30-plus minutes because he was so good in this game. But still not enough, man. The Bobby Portis game is not enough, and Giannis just walking his way into a light 34 is not enough. I really do feel so bad for Giannis, man, because he has strolled his way in to 35, 15, and 4 on 65% true shooting through 2 games of this series. And like, it's not remotely surprising. He gets whatever he wants against the Pacers. I don't think 20 field goal attempts is enough for him in this game. I still think he should have the ball in his hands even more. There's one possession where he's calling for the ball coming down the court, and KPJ ignores him and just runs a pick and roll and misses. And it's like, KPJ, man, what are we doing? understand the hierarchy, understand that Giannis is unstoppable, especially in this matchup. Get him the ball. It just feels like any possession that is run through anybody else is basically a waste, with the exception of Dame. But I still think that this team should be playing Giannis ball more than they're leaning into Dame pick and roll. Like, Giannis is the dude who is the offensive engine in this matchup. And still, it's not enough. And like, he just doesn't deserve this, man. He doesn't deserve to be playing at this level and have a team that is this far away. And it's been apparent all regular season, and it was apparent last season, and they haven't addressed their needs for multiple years. They haven't gotten quicker. They haven't gotten more athletic. They haven't just gotten better role players that they desperately need. They haven't really gotten the personnel to play that Giannis at the 5 look a lot that I think could be so effective. And so here you are, you're in this spot. They really can't slow Indiana down, and nobody other than Giannis has been reliable offensively. It's just a shame because he's the best player on the floor by so far. And game one was the epitome of it, man. He has 19 in the first half and they're down 24. Now that you have Dame back, you think you're going to be more competitive, and they were in this game. And I think the big benefit that you should get from having Dame on the floor is that he can help carry the non-Giannis minutes. But this was a rough return to action for him. Couple of turnovers where he's bothered by having two up at the level, little bit sloppy. I thought Andrew Nemhard did a pretty darn good job on him, just like being an irritant and being quick. And Dame's shot was off in this one. So he has the one big deep three, but this was not the performance they needed out of him. 14 points, 4 of 13 from the field. I get that he's just coming back, obviously. Thank God that he's good to play after the blood clots, but they need him to be a lot better if they want to have a chance, because this series to Milwaukee is going to come down to them putting up a ton of points and just slowing Indiana down the tiniest bit, because they're not getting a lot of stops in this matchup. When they play Brook, they're helpless defensively. When they have the Giannis Bobby front court, they're significantly better, but they're still struggling to consistently generate stops because the Indiana offense is really, really good.
So is Brook a DNP the rest of the way?
He's not a DNP. He's a DNP if Miles Turner is on the floor. And he's a DNP for the most part if Hallie is on the floor, I would say, because it's just the specific two-man game with those two that exploits him so much. But realistically, his slow-footedness is a problem at all minutes against this Indiana team. I just think you have to play him some. Like, just they don't have that much talent. So if you can get him on the
You
floor,
match him with Thomas Bryant minutes, bro.
match him with Thomas Bryant minutes. Even though Thomas Bryant can shoot the pill, no disrespect, I'm not nearly as afraid of him as I am Miles Turner. But it's got to be a series where Brook just doesn't play very much. I want to give props to Indiana, though, because this offense is a machine, and it's not just exploiting Brook. They're just a really hard offense to slow down. Hallie is the engine behind it, and he was phenomenal in the first half in this game. He had 16.7 assists, was blowing by everybody. He was killing Brook off of switches, but they tried Kyle Kuzma as his matchup for a few possessions. He was blowing by him. He was just getting into the lane over and over again, and he's either scoring or he's creating a great shot for a teammate basically every time down, and the three ball was falling. So his first half was like perfect outside of a couple turnovers. The second half, the shot just wasn't falling. I thought that he forced a couple more, but that's the beauty of the Indiana Pacers experience, man. You always have dudes who can pick up the slack. Siakam was excellent throughout this game, especially attacking mismatches. He gives you 24 and 11. He's bullying some of the slider wings, the smaller guys like AJ Green and Torian Prince. And then he's too quick for Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis. Like, Pascal Siakam is sneaky one of the hardest dudes to guard on an island in the NBA. He is just an ISO and post up and inverted pick and roll machine because he's got such a unique combination of size, speed, skill, physicality. Really, really tough cover. And I thought that you saw that in this one. And then, like you said, Andrew Nemhard closes that shit out, man. I tweeted like right before he hit that dagger shot, like, these Pacers guards, man, they got to stop trying to go at Giannis off of switches, because he and Hallie both were like trying to force some shots over Giannis. And I'm like, that's not the matchup for you. And then, of course, Nemhard bangs a three in his mouth because Playoff Andrew Nembhard is just like that, man. In the playoffs, this dude averages 15 points, 5.5 assists per game on 66% true shooting.
What I
Huge
like
improvement from the regular season.
what I like about everybody in the Pacers rotation is one, nobody is overtasked, but everybody also has such a distinct, valuable archetype. Right? If it's any of their guards, they're all really high IQ, good playmakers, good decision makers, and really skilled and can shoot from basically everywhere on the floor. Their wings are really athletic and really good defensively, and they're either good shooters or they're really, high end play finishers if it's like an Obi Toppin. And then their
Mhm.
bigs, they may not be like super pluses defensively like a Siakam or a Turner, but they're all really skilled offensively and complement. They just have such a complimentary roster, man. Everybody fits together. Obviously, Haliburton is the spoon, right? He's the thing that stirs the drink for everybody and gets this thing going. But Pacers are deep and they're so damn talented,
So
man.
deep.
And hell, my boy Jarris Walker is getting some minutes too now, man. I just
He had a 3 in this game.
Pacers are solid, man. The Pacers are so solid, and I just think the Bucks are outmatched.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a team that has a bunch of good basketball players against a team that has one superstar and very few reliable good basketball players around him. Nemhard steps up. I just like his shiftiness, man. He's a tough shot maker. He's a good passer, and he's fearless, dude. He lives for those clutch moments. And you talk about the depth, man. That's what makes this team special, right? They're just so complete. They have so many positive contributors offensively. All of your starters go for 15 plus in this game. They're all efficient. They're all involved. That's Pacers basketball. Everybody who sees the floor is a good basketball player. You play with pace, you move the ball, you attack defensive weak points, you create and capitalize on advantages. I truly, Logan, have no idea why I had the Knicks over them when we did our contender rankings with Jason like the week before the playoffs. And to my credit, I guess I flipped on it before the playoffs even started. I backed off. I said, I don't know what I was thinking, but I think maybe I've been drugged, man. I've been advocating for the Pacers ever since they turned it around. They've been so good for 3/4 of the year, and that was a mistake. And to the state of Indiana, I apologize. I think they're very clearly the 3rd best team in the East. I like their offense more. I think they're more
Probably.
versatile. Their depth is a hell of a lot better.
I was gonna say, man, they probably have the most people want to say that Halliburton's overrated. I think they have the most underrated duo in basketball, probably in Hallie and Siakam.
That's a good shout. I will say, I think that James Harden and Kawhi give them a run for their money. Now they're getting their hype
I think
now,
name
but everybody
value,
literally did a 180 on Kawhi in one day, bro. That was the
literally.
craziest shit
I
ever.
mean, I wasn't surprised by the performance, but I'm still kind of reeling. That was literally one of the greatest playoff games I've ever seen played by anybody ever.
It was, dude. Going back and watching it, like the number of times the Nuggets were showing help and he just shot anyways against a contest with a second defender in the vicinity, and he shot 15 of
I'm
19 from the field.
I'm surprised when Kawhi misses, man.
I am too. I will say, yesterday we were talking on the show, how high does he rank as a playoff scorer? I said the only dudes I can for sure take above him are Jokic and Shea. I'm going to give some props to Giannis. I would take Giannis as well. I just
You're
think
saying
his
right now, of
floor
course.
is so high right now as a playoff scorer. Like you see it, there are just matchups in which Giannis is completely unguardable and he walks his way to the
Over
rim whenever
Luka.
he wants. Well, I would take Luka over Kawhi as well. I think that Luka, when he's getting by people at a decent rate, gets to the line so much more than Kawhi, and the 3-point shooting volume is just such an advantage. And then KD is the one who I think is like right there neck and neck with Kawhi. That's tough because they're both god tier shot makers. Kawhi's strength is something I love so much in the playoffs, but KD just like is going to be insanely efficient as a shot maker no matter what. And he gets to the line a good bit more. And I do think he's a better off ball scorer than Kawhi, marginally so. So I think there's probably 5 dudes at the end of the day. But Kawhi is right in that range where if you put him anywhere in that top 7, because like shout out to Steph as well. I think that he belongs in these conversations. That's where he is. But I wanted to give Giannis his respect because like you can't take for granted when you expect a dude to score an efficient 35 points every single game in a matchup. And that's literally what I expect from Giannis in this series. And it's still not going to be enough. Now, I do think they'll get a game. I think they might get 2 games. Like he's just so good. And Dame, you would think, is going to have one performance where he really goes off, and hopefully some of the Bucks supporting cast members make some shots. And it's not going to be about them slowing down Indiana. It's just going to be they have a dynamic offensive performance of their own. Like, they're capable of that, especially when the ball is in Giannis's hands for a vast majority of the game. But that's not what you want to hear if you're Giannis and you're 30 and you're playing at this level and things have just gotten worse and worse around you for several years now, and your team has no assets to improve it. Like,
Hit the road.
been saying this,
Time
man,
to
but
hit
I think
the
he's got to
road,
be out of
man.
there. He's got to be out of there. Just as a basketball fan, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see him in Milwaukee anymore.
I was always really hopeful that it was going to be Dallas with Luka when, because we've seen this coming with Giannis for a very long time in Milwaukee, like the light at the end of the tunnel, and I think it's going to be mutually beneficial. I always wanted them to get paired up together, but I think it's the right move.
You know who I saw our buddy Tyler, Hoop Venue, say today?
Who?
He said this is all going to be so funny when it culminates in Giannis and Hallie playing together in Indiana.
That would be gnarly. That would be maybe the best duo in the league.
That would be so sexual. But there's real beef between these two teams.
I'd like to see Giannis with Steph. That would be sick.
I mean, how greedy can we be as Warriors fans? Really, truly. Like,
hey, man, can
at
I
some
ask you
point,
something?
do we have to let somebody else get one?
Am I really that crazy for thinking that Miles Turner is better than Domantas Sabonis?
You are crazy for thinking that. But Miles Turner's really good.
Some of the
He's
shots
one of the best
he's
pick
been
and pop
hitting in
bigs
this
in
series,
basketball.
man. Like, that's
I
what's
love
really
that he can just get to his step back even.
Yeah,
bro.
like,
he is a hell of a jump shooter.
It's just, it really blows my mind when I'm watching a Pacers game and a 7-foot dude will just pull off a butter smooth left elbow step back J in nothing but net. Like, he's a really good shooter. He's a good scorer.
He's a really good scorer of the basketball. No doubt about that. Shout out to the Pacers, man. Shout out to Tyrese Haliburton. And he mogged Dame. I saw Jokic Joestar say that, but he did, man. He won. He played better today, and he mogged him. This Bobby Portis game, like, I'm going to give one more number. Bucks are +4 with Bobby Portis on the floor in this series, and they're -31 with him off it. So he clearly gives them a better chance than Brook does. And I do want to give props to Kuz. He opens this game smoking 2 layups. He was better in this one. He was aggressive. He got downhill. Wasn't great, but he was better. Let's talk about them Oklahoma City Thunder, Logan, shall we? Because they cruise to another win over the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, they don't beat them by 50 like they did in game 1, but it's a comfortable victory nonetheless. What did you take away from this one?
Grizzlies are chopped. Grizzlies are chopped, bro.
Yeah.
They're done. That's it.
That's it? I mean, I agree.
No, I mean, I've got some pretty crazy numbers. I'm baffled that Oklahoma City has dogged Memphis in this way through 2 games. Like, I expected Oklahoma City to cruise, but these have been beatdowns. Memphis' spirit is broken. They're done. Like, that's really what I mean. Like, Oklahoma City has snatched this team's soul. Carson, what do you think Memphis has posted as an offensive rating through 2 games, if you had to guess?
Ooh, I'm going to say 93?
88.1.
Oh!
Yeah.
It's like you're playing against the 04 Pistons, man.
Yeah, in the Big 2025.
Honestly, it's like you're playing against the 62 Celtics. 88 offensive rating? My God.
Jaren Jackson Jr. in 2 games versus Oklahoma City so far is giving you 15, 5, and 1 on 46% true shooting. Ja Morant in 2 games is giving you 23 and 5 on 44% true shooting. I think there's a lot of encouraging things about Oklahoma City in this game, in this series so far. One, just the collective defense that we've gotten from Oklahoma City. That's not anything new. This was a historically great regular season defense. They have given Ja in Triple J nightmares on ball. Like, it's just so hard. And especially when you see, like, limited role players really have to try to create. Like, dude, Aldama can't put the ball on the freaking floor. Oklahoma City's
Yeah.
taking that the second he tries to put the rock on the floor. Like, it's comical almost. The really encouraging thing to me about this game was the fact that J-Dub and Chet got going. And that's really all that I'm looking for in the rest of this series. This series is done. Memphis is done as a franchise. I wonder if this is going to make them
Move
rethink
back
some
to
things in this
Vancouver.
offseason, go back to the drawing board. When I say they're chopped, I don't just mean this year. Like, this could be a franchise altering season for the Memphis Grizzlies when it looked like they were on somewhat of an ascent coming into this year. And yeah, that's the most encouraging thing that I can say about Oklahoma City, and all I want to see the rest of this way is, can J-Dub reliably get it going? He's been doing that in the second half of this season. He does in this game. Can Chet get it going? And he did in this game. And, can their shooting sustain? That's really what I'm looking for in OKC. This series is done. I think they're going to eat John Triple J up. I think Memphis is going to crumble in these next two games. I think that their spirits have been broken. I think their souls have been snatched. I think Oklahoma City's playing with house money right now. So I'm really encouraged by what we've gotten out of Oklahoma City, man. They're living up to everything that they were billed as coming into the playoffs.
They're dominating in spite of Shai playing two of his worst games of the year. That's pretty damn impressive. It's in a lot of ways the same story as last game, where like they are just so overwhelming athletically and defensively, and they have so many absolute psychos on their basketball team. Like the level of pressure that they apply to you is just different. I'll tell you one play that kind of paints that picture to me. Chet finishes, I think that somebody gave him a lay down pass or whatever, and he's like kind of flexing running back on defense. The Thunder are up 18 points with a minute and 20 seconds left. He sees Santi Aldama streaking down court with an opportunity in transition. Chet books it, blocks his dunk attempt at the rim. There's nothing to play for at that point anymore, and he is still locked in. He is still that fiery competitor. That's just so emblematic of the Thunder and who they are as a team. Their guards had 11 offensive rebounds in this game, man. They are first to every ball. They are so fast. They are so active. They're flying around everywhere. Chet was phenomenal defensively in this game. He had 5 blocks. And the extent to which they are dominating the transition battle, which their defense is a huge part of, forcing turnovers, getting them opportunities off stops to get out and run. I've never seen anything quite like this, Logan. They were plus 23 in terms of transition points in the first game, and they were plus 24 in transition points in this game. So it's just absurd. Their ability to turn defense into offense, like I said last show, it's unmatched in NBA history. And there's one specific dude who I want to give a massive shout out for his defensive performance and his offensive performance in this one. He just was unbelievable. That's Alex Caruso, man. Gives you 13, 4, and 3 with 4 stocks everywhere in this game. Absolute energizer bunny, dude. He is attacking the ball, forcing turnovers. He's blowing shit up as a roamer. He blocks Jaw with a rear view contest out of pick and roll today. He full sprints to recover, catch up to Jaw in transition, and forces him into a travel. He's attacking the glass, flying around and winning them extra possessions. Like, he's just such a winner, dude. And that's why the Giddey trade discourse just made me giggle, just made me chuckle, because it's like, guys can bring up the box scores all you want. If you think there's a chance in hell the Oklahoma City Thunder would rather have Josh Giddey than Alex Caruso for their roster with their needs, trying to win a championship, you're out of your mind.
No matter how many games Alex Caruso shoots 2 of 10 or 1 of 8 or, 1 of 6, whatever it is from behind the arc or from the field, it doesn't matter. Like, I will take him 10 times out of 10 on my basketball team. And that's what's so hard about playing Oklahoma City. When you're playing a defense that's so connected like this, it's just so hard to get anything going because they've pre-rotated. They're already in the exact right spot. They're anticipating what you're going to do. And specifically what I said about like a guy like Aldama. When you're making life so hard on a team's stars like Ja in this matchup against all these great perimeter defenders and Triple J against all these great interior guys like Chet and Ihart, the the buck falls on your supporting cast to step up and to beat the other guys around them. There's no weak point. So you're asking Desmond Bane to create, you're asking Aldama to create, you're asking these guys to. It's impossible. It is an impossible task for these guys because of how great this Oklahoma City defense is, man. And I just hope they're getting adequately appreciated now, Carson. I think a lot of people were really skeptical about Oklahoma City coming into these playoffs despite winning 60 games, despite being
68. Let's not sell them short. 68, Logan.
Despite being such a historically great regular season team. And I'm not surprised at all, man.
And they can look better.
They can. That's what's
they
terrifying.
Can look a lot better.
That's what's terrifying about this team, man.
Because Shai's not going yet. But I'll tell you, the biggest thing to me, and you mentioned it, has been the comfort level of both J-Dub and Chet. Because where you think about where things went wrong in the playoffs last year, a lot of it rested on the shoulders of those two. Chet being totally off as a shooter from beyond the arc. J-Dub not being the second creator that the Thunder needed him to be in that Mav series. J-Dub has been so great. First of all, absolutely dominant defensively, absolutely dominant in transition. So that's great because those are the two areas in which he is most valuable, and he is getting an A+ in both of those categories. But he's also looked very comfortable in the half court. I think he's looked very comfortable out of pick and roll, getting to his pull-up jumpers, making the reads as a playmaker. He's relying a lot on the mid-range, as he always does, but the mid-range is going right now. And if the mid-range is going, then he's a really, really good offensive player. And with Chet, a lot of this game was just him stepping into wide open threes, but he's knocking them down. Like, they're leaving him wide open off the pop. They are at times helping aggressively off of him. And I just think that's a mistake. I think that Chet is an improved shooter. I think he was already a significantly better shooter.
Don't give him wide open looks, man. You're asking to get pummeled.
I agree. But then he's also aggressive over these two games off the catch. He was really aggressive in transition in this game, which I liked, like especially if he sees Edey as that first defender back, use your speed advantage, try to beat him down the floor. So he's just balling out, and like the rim protection from him is absolutely incredible. So those two are going to be so pivotal to OKC's title hopes this year. I've been very encouraged by how they've both looked in these first couple games. At the end of the day, the Memphis Grizzlies are not the ultimate test for the Thunder. They are food. They were food coming into this series. I expected a sweep. And after a quarter of this game, man, I was ready to go on a rant about the Grizzlies and call them a disgrace and call this a catastrophe. And like, they kind of got their shit together from that point forward. They didn't get beaten by 50 again, which is the trajectory that they were on after the first quarter.
That's the bar.
That's the bar for me, I guess, giving you a full-on reaming after game 2. I'll save that for after the series because it's coming.
I just don't.
They have some major, major shit to figure out.
It's just like, I don't know. When I was talking about their spirit, man, it's a really grody, like nasty feeling when you as a fan are watching these games and Memphis is wearing the defeat on them. Like Memphis has this stink about them that they've already lost this series, and it's really like, I can't blame them because whoever was going to draw OKC in the first round, you're marching to your death sentence, but like Memphis is wearing it. You can see it anytime they're on your TV screen. It doesn't matter what player it is, like this is just a team that their morale has been crushed, man. I don't know where you go from here. Like, because all of my answers and all of my solutions for Memphis, or potential solutions, involve drastic roster reconstruction. And that's just the reality that Memphis finds themselves in.
Yeah, well, breaking news, dude. Shocker. Taylor Jenkins was not the problem. Wasn't the problem. They have been losing a whole lot of games without him, just losing a whole lot of games down the home stretch of the season. Ja was bad in this game. Ja has been bad in this series. 44% true shooting in both games.
Like we keep mentioning, the offense has been significantly worse, too, since they've gone back to this Ja-centric, offense. And that was their genius idea before the playoffs to jumpstart this team and to change the tide.
Ja's individual production had been a lot better down the stretch of the regular season. He's just more comfortable playing with the ball in his hands so much. But in this matchup, I mean, it's just hell, dude. Like, Chet Holmgren is his nightmare, man. Just having to deal with a rim protector of that caliber. The only time all game I thought Ja looked comfortable was that stretch in the second quarter when Chet was off the floor and he's seeing Ihart out of drop, who is not the same deterrent. He's a good drop defender, but not like an elite dominant one like Chet. And he was able to get to some of those floaters more comfortably, but like, it's really hard for him to finish the rim against Chet. Ja has to do something special to do so, which he did a couple times, but overall inefficient at the rim. The same problems with Ja are going to remain, man. Like, he's not a remotely versatile basketball player. This year proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that he can't play off ball because the system was working, but he was suffering individually. So he said, fuck it, we're not doing that anymore. Bad catch and shooter and bad pull-up shooter and not a good enough intermediate shot maker. Like, that's the stuff that you need, man. You have to be able to beat a team playing drop in the playoffs, and he can't do it. And like, the Thunder are the best drop coverage you're going to face because their screen navigation is insane and their rim protection is insane. But it's just like, man, you're not always going to be able to will your way to the rim and get efficient looks there against a playoff defense.
I'm going to say something that might be mildly controversial. I don't think it's
You like the gun stuff. I get it.
I don't think it's particular. Actually, I actually think the NBA should be a little more lenient with the celebrations and stuff like that. It's like,
well, the grenade was hilarious.
The grenade's the best selling in sports. We need to keep it. I mean,
honestly,
it's genius. It's awesome.
Well, actually, sorry, that's the silencing the haters celebration or something. Did you see his explanation of that?
Why do we have to? He's a grown man. Why do we have to?
He's trying to avoid a fine. I get it.
I would take Tyrese Haliburton over John Morant. It's like not actually close at all.
Oh,
it's
brother,
not close at all.
It's not close at all.
Like
it's not close at all, but it's been not close.
But like, I feel like John Morant supporters would fight us on that.
Well, they'd have a hell of a hard time making the argument right now, man. I mean, you're rigid stylistically. He's not efficient. He hasn't led to efficient team offense when he is the ball dominant engine that he wants to be. And like, you've got no flexibility, man. I mean, Hallie, he's just the golden boy of impact in the game without having to dominate the ball and without having to put up big scoring numbers. And that is just not the case whatsoever with Ja. I think that you have a pretty hard ceiling if you're trying to make him your number one. And I think that Triple J is their best player, but this has not been an encouraging playoff run from him. I will say this was a nice-ish response. Like, he was very quiet early in this game, but then he ends up getting his numbers and like puts up 26 points on 66% true shooting, using his strength, getting to those touch shots that he's so good on, and he was nailing them. It's not coming easy against OKC. It's not coming easy against Hartenstein. It's not coming easy in any of these matchups, but at least he was able to produce efficient offense as a scorer. I will say, if the Thunder wanted to really give him hell, they should throw more doubles at him.
They were, and he was getting some shots off, but I completely agree, dude. He looks really overwhelmed when they do it.
Yeah, I think he is a second percentile efficiency creator out of the post when doubled hard this year. And like, there's the one where he lost his handle and it was a jump ball. So I would argue that they haven't even pushed the real nuclear button when it comes to exposing his potential playoff limitations. So yeah, like I said after last show, man, the Grizzlies' best guys aren't good enough. They shot poorly in this game. The whole team did. And I gotta say, Logan, their depth is kind of fake. It's overrated, at least. They have a ton of guys who can give you regular season rotation minutes. And this was even more true before they traded away Laravia and Marcus Smart. And like you were talking about, whoa, they actually have like 15 guys. And that's all good and well. And that can keep you alive throughout the regular season. But how many really good basketball players do they have? How many really good role players do they have? Not that many, man. Like Scottie Pippen Jr., not a guy I really want to be relying on to create offense in a postseason.
Kind of like all of them. It's like Kennard or Aldama or like
a lot of specialists, right? Edey and Kennard both have their strengths, but they also have their limitations. I think Edey's a better basketball player. I think he's more impactful than he gets credit for, but still obviously has his major limitations and exploitable aspects. I just think if you really look at the supporting cast, what makes the biggest difference is having good ass role players, not having a bunch of decent role players.
And
And they don't
versatile
really have the good ass role players
and
and
versatile
versatile role
ones too.
players.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel terrible about the Grizzlies. I think they are in a very, very dire state and big decisions are coming for them. Are you worried at all about Shai, Logan, starting these playoffs slow?
Not really.
Yeah. I'm not either. I think if you look at these first couple games, he might be forcing the issue a bit in this game where he's maybe taking a couple mid-range pull-ups where I'd prefer a kick-out pass because he is seeing some packed paints. But honestly, I think he's mostly just uncharacteristically off as a shooter through these first couple games. Like, I'm not really seeing the defense make him uncomfortable, keep him away from his spots. They are loading up on his drive, so he can't get all the way to the rim as much as he might in the regular season, but he dealt with that in the playoffs last year and still dominated because he's a top 2 mid-range shooter on the planet, and you cannot take that away with any defensive coverage. So he's going to be absolutely fine. It's cracking me up that people are trying to make this like an MVP thing, like, oh, well, the Thunder are carrying him, and like, look, they're still dominating even when he's not playing that well. How can that possibly
Yeah,
be the
we
MVP?
we know, bro. They're a great basketball team.
They're a great team, but also just like the notion that he was carried in the regular season is just very silly because, like, you want to know how many games he had in the regular season with under 20 points, like he had
What,
in
like
game one?
one?
One all
That's
regular season.
18,
He had
right?
18 in one game. Look at you, Logan. You know how many regular season games he had where he shot under 35% from the field, like he just did in game
I would
two?
probably say zero, actually.
Four. He had four of them, but still, like, he's played two of his worst games of the year in the playoffs. He doesn't get a pass for that. Like, he's got to be better, but to act like this was happening all the time in the regular season is just like so false. And like, it is a luxury the Thunder have that they can win games when he's not at his best and he's got to sharpen up. But this dude was fucking unbelievable in the regular season. He's going to be unbelievable for the rest of these playoffs. I really do believe that. Like, took some time off at the end of the regular season. Think he's getting his rhythm back. He'll be more than fine. Because I've always said, man, Shai is built to be a dominant playoff scorer. He is the epitome of consistency. This dude had 30 plus points in 50 games this year. To end the playoffs last year, he had 5 straight games with efficient 30 pieces. When you can dominate the paint and when you can dominate that intermediate area, and you can do it out of isolation, you can do it out of pick and roll. Like, nobody can take away Shai getting to the shots that he wants to. He just has to make them, and I absolutely believe that he will do so. He's very fortunate to have such a talented supporting cast that they can pick up his slack for these 2 games, but he's going to pick it up, and I'm not worried about him going forward. Look at the Thunder, man. Cruising.
What'd you think of these goofy ass shirts they were wearing during the Bucks Pacers game, man? Did you see those, bruh?
No.
The Bucks one says "win for cream," and then the
Oh, you
Pacers
texted me
one.
that. I thought that was about something else.
I did text you that. I thought you were gonna. That's weird. I thought you
My
understood what I
response
was
probably
getting
confused you then, huh? The image I sent you?
at. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
But yeah, the Bucks say "win for cream," and then the Pacers say "yes sirs."
Oh, yeah, I know. I saw the yes sirs.
Really, man? Like
Hey.
I don't. Like I don't know. I think all the college
I
merchandise.
mean, obviously, win for cream is absolutely absurd.
Win for cream is diabolical, bro.
I don't know why they're so attached to the Cream City thing, man.
Like those are the funniest
They're
jerseys.
children watching.
The NBA has to know what they're doing with those, right? It's like
Absolutely they do.
The only
It's like
thing I've seen
Sacktown.
worse than that, I don't know if you saw this. This is a story for a minute. They had these new era hats for baseball, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were so lazily designed that they just put the team's primary logo with their like name across the hat, and then they put their alternate logo in the middle. And so the Texas Rangers hat says Texas, right? Their normal logo is just a T, so the hat just said Tetas instead of fucking
that's
Texas.
awesome. That's awesome.
But it's like, I don't know,
Some
man.
dirty pervert scheme that
I'm
one up.
trying to
That's what
figure
it
out
is.
if it's deliberate or not. Like,
You're trying to find the guy who did this, and I think I'm looking right at him.
I mean, they would probably
Cream
sell
City
well.
is, I think, deliberate. I think they're doing it for the Gen Zers and they're doing it for the social interactions. But at this point, they've been doing it for years, so maybe they're not.
Cream.
I don't know. Milwaukee people tell us. Obviously, we know how you feel about your cheese and your dairy products in Wisconsin, but do you guys really identify with being Cream City? Let us know. Let us know in the chat. On that note, Logan, let's wrap this sucker up. Is it true? Hold on. Are we going to be back tomorrow?
Wait. Oh, I'm hearing Nerd Sesh is going to be live again tomorrow.
Well, we got to talk about Warriors-Rockets game too, man. So we will see you guys there. Hope you enjoyed all the basketball today and hope you enjoyed the post-game pod. If you did, you know where to find us on our YouTube channel. You can catch all of our full episodes and you can watch all of the live streams live. You can also listen to all of our episodes, though, the day after across all audio platforms if you want, or very late the night of, whatever works for you, man, or a couple weeks later, a couple years later. Doesn't matter to me. And you can follow us across social if you want. TikTok and Instagram at NerdSesh and Twitter at Nerd_Sesh. You can also join our Discord if you want to chat with the gang and be part of our community over there. So with that, as always, appreciate you guys. I've been Carson Brabber.
I've been Logan Camden.
And this was Nerd Sesh.